What's going on? It's your boy Eric Boom Sorry, host of the House of Boom podcast. Today we got a dope episode with Bobby Crillz from my second hometown, Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Man, listen, me and Bobby chopped it up about his Detroit Lions, who are on the road. They're killing it right now. They're really at the top of the NFL as far as the power rankings. Moreover, we talked about being a podcaster, just dropping nuggets on things of that nature. Y'all really going to enjoy this episode. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and moreover, comment and let me know what you think about this episode. Without further ado, here is Bobby Crillz. Let's go. In life, sometimes things just happen, you know what I mean? It's a coincidence, but are there really coincidences in this world and this thing we call life? Man, you know, a week ago, I was watching a clip of one of my homies, high school homies, interviewing one of my other dudes, and I was like, oh, that's dope. We got a podcast. That's just going down. That's what's up. Listening to a lot of inspirational things that they was talking about, and I hit him up. I said, yo, you got to come on the pod. Yo, I didn't know you was podding. And he was like, yo, I didn't know you was podding. And then it was like, yo, this algorithm be playing games because how we don't know about each other podding? And it's like, yo. And I do know this dude, you know, from just making dope music. Actually, you know, for a local homegrown Jersey talented guy, he makes some of the coldest videos when he does drop music. You know, we played sports together, all that good stuff in high school. And you know, it's always good to see somebody grow, extend, nourish their talents and give it to the world and all that good stuff. Back to the coincidence. He's a Detroit Lions fan. So I should say what up, though. What up, though?
What up, though?
What up, though, to all the people in Detroit. And I don't know how he became a Detroit Lions fan, but we're going to find out today on the House of Boom podcast. So without further ado, it's Bobby Crillz is in the building.
What up, Boom? What up, man? It's long overdue. I didn't know we was doing podcasting together, but you reached out the other day, and then it's just funny how the worlds collide. And then coincidentally, the Lions played the Cowboys, and that was a good day for me back there for you. You know what I mean?
It was an okay day for you, but it was a really bad day for me.
I'm upset. I'm a little upset about the Hutchinson injury. That shit really hurt, man. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, man, it's your world. We in it.
Yeah, the Hutchinson injury is not worth that. You know what I mean, like that. Did you see his leg, bro?
Mm-mm.
That was one of those injuries where you don't want to watch it. You know what I mean? It was nasty. But I appreciate the intro, man. Growth for sure. I mean, I've been watching you grind for years, so
yes, sir.
Thank you for having me on the podcast. I appreciate it. And, yeah, let's get there, man.
Let's get there. So you know, we started up. We were just gonna stay in that space, that vein. Oh, Detroit, because you probably the only person, and you've been a Detroit fan for a minute. This ain't nothing new.
I didn't pop out last year when they made the NFC Championship. I was repping them when we were 0-16. You know what I mean? Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford to this day. Jared Goff is playing lights out right now, but to this day, Matthew Stafford is my guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I just have a loyalty to him because he's just been a Lion his whole life. And then, but Lions, man, I've been Lions fan since about 95 when I first started playing Madden. Barry Sanders was the best thing on the block. You know what I mean? You're running a halfback sweep with Barry Sanders. You're taking it 90 yards every time in Madden. You know what I mean? So I played Madden, and then I started watching football, and then Barry Sanders he was highlights, bro, all day. And I became a fan of Barry. And once he retired, that hurt, but I never jumped ship. I stood there. And then for a few years after that, early 2000s, it was a little ugly. Then we drafted Stafford. Well, we drafted Calvin Johnson first.
Right.
Then they went 0-16. Then we got Stafford. And then when them two started connecting, that was magic. You know what I mean? So it was fun to watch the Lions again. We had the Scott Linehan offense, and it was just airing it out. Stafford's throwing 50 times a game. You know what I mean? So. Jeez. And he's throwing 19 of them to Megatron, you know. So
real Lions fan here.
Yeah, you know, that's real. That's real stuff. But we sucked for a long time. So even at this point, like we're good and everybody's talking about us, but I still don't know how to act. You know what I mean? Like I'm waiting for the carpet to be like swept right from underneath me. You know what I mean? Like I'm still waiting for it. I feel like yesterday I was watching the game. At certain points in the game, it was already a flood, and I'm like, oh, here it goes. Here it goes. You know what I mean? And it just never happened. The Cowboys just kept giving us the ball back. I was like, all right. The Cowboys looked pretty rough yesterday, brother. How you feel about that game? Because that was rough. It was rough to watch.
So my initial thoughts were this is clapback for that that play from last year, eligible tackle, all this and all that. I was like, this is a hell of a clapback. I said, karma, if you exist, this was the moment we knew you did. It's the Cowboys. I'm not on the roller coaster. I got off. I take it week to week to them. If they lose bad, I just be like, my bum ass Cowboys, right? But if we win, I'd be like, let me just stay humble because I don't know what next week's gonna bring. So I'm gonna just enjoy this slightly, and then just allow it to marinate until another week. Unless we playing like the Giants or the Eagles, then it gets a little spicy. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm having this flashback right, but high school, did you wear a Barry Sanders jersey with a white Barry Sanders jersey with a headband at all?
I did have a white Barry
Sanders jersey. I'm telling you, I have photographic memory, and it just takes a second.
Yeah, it's the baby blue is the color.
Yeah,
I was the only one that would wear that.
Yeah,
nobody would wear that
with a white headband.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's me in high school for sure.
Yo.
High school was fun. I mean, I remember watching you play football. We played football together.
Right.
I never got to the level that you got to. I was a little stupid when it came to like acting up and stuff like that.
Right.
Not doing my homework and failing and shit like that. But I remember there was one particular game that always stood out with me for you. It was a kick return that you took one day. I don't know if it was like a 96-yarder or something. I think it was something crazy like that. But you were just running over motherfuckers.
It's on the books.
You was running over motherfuckers. And that's why when I hear the name Boom, that's what I think of you, bro. Like that Boom, as Eric Boom Salvary. Like, I don't know if people understand where that comes from. But I think I was around when that name came about.
So you weren't, but
I feel like I was.
You weren't, but you're not far off.
I'm not far off.
So Boom, I'm not an Amboy.
You were like Orange, right? You
East Orange, actually.
Orange, yeah, right.
And I'm a transplant. Now it's kind of crazy. When I was thinking about you coming up here, I was like, we probably gonna end up talking about Amboy, and I was like, I've actually lived in Amboy now. At this stage of the game, more than I've lived in East Orange.
Yeah,
but and it's so.
But
perplexing.
You came so late in your adolescence that you were really an East Orange cat.
Yeah.
You weren't an Amboy cat. You
were sophomore year. Yeah. And so even now to this day, but I'm more I'm not more Amboy, but I accept the Amboy-ness of me now. Yeah. That now when you meet, say you out, you socialize with a female, yo, where you from? I'm so conflicted in my head. Like, I'll be like, I'm from East Orange, but I've been an Amboy for a minute. So it's like, yeah, it is what it is.
It depends on who you talking to, bro. You got to read the room.
Yeah.
You got to read the room.
Yeah. But, that definitely happened at 97-yard kickoff return. It was
something crazy.
And, I was thinking about it. I was like, the craziest part about it is that we had an interesting football coach. I'm not going to sway anybody's opinions.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of people who will tell you what type of football coach we had, right?
It depends on which one. Are you talking about the G?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But I remember after that happened, that particular football coach came up to me and said, well, I might have misjudged your talent. And I'm like, oh, you tell me this is my senior year? Yeah. Like 2 games to go? But that's another story for another day, man. But yeah, man. Where did your love for hip hop come from? That's what I want to get to. You know what I mean?
The hip hop started around the same time, 93, 94 is when I really first started listening to hip hop. I had this friend of the family that lived with us. He was a little bit older. He was doing pretty bad out there, but my family brought him in, and he became like my older brother. Mm-hmm. But he was out there. He was off the porch already. You know what I mean? So he was in the streets, whatever. And he started playing like. We were playing Madden all the time, we kicking it and shit like that. And he started playing Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt. That was like the first album that did it for me. Mm-hmm. I heard Wu-Tang albums before that, stuff like that, but I wasn't immersed into it. But every day I would be playing Madden and we rocking Reasonable Doubt. So it became like a part of my life. It became like a timestamp for that era in my life. So Reasonable Doubt always holds that place in my heart. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm such a Hove truther, bro. Like, I'm Hove all day. All this Hove slander right now is really bothering me. You know what I mean? But we're not going to even talk on that.
Nah, we
don't. but I don't like the way they talk about Hove right now.
I don't
but Hove is my guy. You know what I mean? And it started with like Reasonable Doubt, You know, Illmatic was dope. All that stuff was dope. But the real album that really did it for me was the Fugees. When I first heard the score, the score album, and it was Fuji La, and then it just felt so Jersey. That felt Jersey. I don't know if anybody felt that way about that album, but there was skits on it with the Chinese restaurant. They were from Newark. You could feel the Newark. Even the streets that they mentioned.
They're actually from East Orange. But go ahead. But
you feel like the streets that they were mentioning in those skits and stuff like that were those were names. I knew those streets. I heard of those streets. You know what I mean? So it was like, it just felt Jersey. And from that point on, bro, it was just hip hop, bro. Hip hop was everything at the time. You know, I started getting into like the lyricism of it, like listening to people rhyme and their rhyme schemes and stuff like that. And it just took off. And then hip hop was just the hottest genre at that time, especially where we grew up. That's all we listened to, you know what I mean? And then bachata, you know what I mean? If you go into a Spanish party, you know what I mean? You got hip hop and bachata, you know what I mean? That's Per Damn Boy in a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Right there.
In a nutshell.
So it was that. And then just, you know, being outside, playing outside, running the streets a little bit, you just becomes a part of your life. And that culture, I just gravitated towards it, you know what I mean?
Do you remember Richie Price?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know, God rest his soul. I'll tell you a funny hip hop story since you love Hov. One time, it was a group of us. It was me, Richie, Jason Eves, another God rest his soul. Yeah. I think Terrence, Flip.
That's my guy. The Flip.
Somebody else. It was a couple. It was two.
I know the group you're talking about though.
Yeah.
You don't even got it. I already know who you're talking about.
It was a group of us. And so we were walking, you know, the walk that everybody does till they get to Four Corners.
Yeah.
And we see this blue Lincoln Navigator driving by. And we see Richie take off. Hey, yo, Bleak. Yo, Memphis Bleak was driving down Smith Street.
I remember I heard he had ties to something in Perth Amboy.
Something like that.
Yeah, he had ties to something in Perth Amboy.
I don't know. Richie just knew him. Richie took off, got him. I forgot those apartment buildings right before you go down the hill to the waterfront. It's like on the left side or something like that. If I'm walking down, it would be on my left. You know, like you going to the waterfront to the marina a little bit.
Yeah.
And
44 High Street.
Something like that.
Big
buildings, like a big U-turn.
Yeah.
He pulls in there, and Richie's up there. He's like, "Yo," we was like, "Oh, this really Memphis Bleak." And he came out, talked to us, gave us some stuff for the street team, and we was supposed to put it all over the town and all this other stuff. That's probably the closest I ever got to Hov. And
Richie was a Hov fan. He was Hov all day. That brings back memories though.
Yeah,
I remember like playing sports, basketball, football, the bus rides.
Yeah,
all we played was Hov, bro. Like it was Hov. Hov was the GOAT of our era from what I feel. You know what I mean? I think respectfully, like there was other guys. He was never like the #1 artist of the year.
Yeah,
but he was always right there. Like we was always rocking Hov, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where my love for Hov comes. All those memories from like childhood growing up and playing sports, bro. With sports, basketball, football, those bus rides were vicious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? That's where it all came from, and that shit sticks with you. And that's why, like, I hear the new stuff, and I'm receptive to it because my kids are on it now. Like, they listen to all the drill shit and all that. It's cool. You know, I respect it. You know, I'm not one of those get off my lawn type of cats. Like, that's their space. That's their world. I'm not going to sit here and tell them it's trash. It's not trash because they're talented for what they're doing. But I'm still kind of stuck over there. You know what I mean? I'm still kind of stuck over there.
I feel that. When did you first decide, yo, I'm gonna put pen to paper and I can really do this? Because the difference between having love and understanding the art and really just saying like, yo, no, I could actually put something out and it'd be fire.
It was like 2001 around that time. I was like freshman, sophomore year of high school. I didn't really start writing or anything like that till around then. But I don't know if you remember, I was kind of back and forth between Woodbridge and Perth Amboy.
Okay.
I would go back and forth because I lived in Woodbridge.
Really?
During my high school years.
Okay.
So me and my sister was like, fuck that. All our friends are in Amboy. We don't want to go to Woodbridge schools.
Right.
Mom was like, all right, we're going to use your aunt's address.
Got you.
And you stay in Amboy now.
All
we had just moved out of Amboy to try to get into a better neighborhood, but we ended up staying in the schools. But what was I saying? I had friends in Woodbridge. So there was this one kid, his name's Trev, my man Trevor Brooks. Shout out to Trev. He was a rapper. But he was from Woodbridge. He was an older cat. He was like a senior, and I was like a freshman. But this was my guy. I was spending a lot of time with him, and we was rocking out, playing ball at the parks in Woodbridge and stuff like that. He was always rapping, spitting some ill shit, and I'm like, all right, it's fire. And I was a baller at the time. I was all about basketball. I wanted to play basketball and football. That's it. So I was busting his ass one day on the court. Pause, no homo. I was giving it to him, boom, boom, eating him up. And he was talking shit, and I was like, man, I do whatever you do better. It don't even matter. You know what I mean? So he rapped. So to prove a point, first beat I wrote to was Dead Presidents, Jay-Z. And I wrote a diss to him, and it was trash. I ain't gonna hold this shit was trash. And then I was like, I got to do something else. I picked the Noriega beat, Grimy. The Grimy beat, and I wrote to that. So the next day, I memorized this shit. And the next day, we was at the park. We had the beats on. I said, boom, this is it. I gave it to him.
Right.
Everybody was wilding. I was like, they were just gassing me. This shit was trash. I know it was trash. You know what I mean? But it was fun. It was fun. I had fun doing it. So at the time, those J Arm CDs, the I don't know if you remember the J Arm instrumental CDs. They used to be the mixtapes.
Right.
Those used to come out all the time. So I used to constantly get those. The Sycamore beats, the instrumentals. And I used to just write, just to fuck around. And then got into school. I ran into some cats in Amboy High School. Remember Jihad from Plainfield?
Okay.
Jihad was rapping. Me and him was rapping together a little bit. We found some cats that had like this in-home studio. Booked some time over there. Turns out I knew them from childhood. And then I started kind of just rocking with them because they had the studio.
Word.
And we built the crazy team, and we were just grinding ever since. You know what I mean? And then that's the beginning of it. You know what I mean? I found the love for it. I had a couple people with me, and we just kept going, But my thirst to learn and get into that marketing space, like that all came around social media. Once MySpace became like a mainframe, like a mainstay for us, and I figured out what you could do with like a social media platform. Because I don't know if you guys remember MySpace, but MySpace was popping.
It was.
MySpace was popping.
Tom was everybody's first friend.
Bro, they had the bulletin section. I don't know if you remember, like the bulletins.
Okay.
So you could make announcements and you could post shit in there. And I used to post my music player into the bulletins, but I had this automated software that I had found out about that would post a bulletin every 7 minutes. So what happened was every time somebody clicked on my bulletin title, it'll give me a play.
Wow.
I started charting on the MySpace charts. I don't know if you remember, MySpace Music had charts.
Okay.
So if you're ranking in these top 100s in your state or whatever, your area, people start hitting you up. You start networking. So people started hitting me up because I'm charting. They're like, who the hell is this kid? Random people, club promoters, cats doing showcases, trying to make a bag off of rappers. You know what I mean? So They're like, you got a little buzz. Okay, here. We doing a show over here for Sony and Epic Records. Sell 20 tickets. And I'm like, shit, all right, this is my opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, I sold so many goddamn tickets for these opportunities. And, nothing really came about it but experience and then just gaining network and knowledge and seeing how things run. But that's how I kind of got into like music. I just started like figuring shit out. It's just trial and error. You know what I mean?
Did you sell a lot of tickets? Did you end up selling a lot of tickets in the ranks of Perth Boy? Like,
yeah.
See, that's one thing I think about. Again, like I was thinking about like the different way of the way this conversation could go. And I'll tell you one thing. When I first moved to Perth Boy, I was like, I don't know, this place is different. Again, I'm from East Orange. I went to a different school. Clifford J. Scott don't even exist no more, high school wise. And it was like, it was the opposite of Amboy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You see how many black people was at Amboy? At the time when we were there?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a lot. You could count on
we were a lot of Dominicans. We was a lot of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. A lot of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans.
Yo.
So you probably felt weird as shit.
Yo, it was when I say it was the total opposite, like it was like I felt how they felt at my old high school.
Yeah.
Damn. I was like, we knew it was the Spanish and Dominican, it was Puerto Rican Dominicans. It was a small group of them. And the high school wasn't crazy big, so it was like, all right. And then it moved to Amboy, it was like, oh, it's flipped.
Yeah.
Now I'm in the minority. Everybody know each other, and everybody know each other for forever and a day.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't no...
It's a smaller town. We all grew up together. Everybody know each other.
It's a big-ass school, but it's like everybody know each other, and I bring that up to say, not to diss or play on anybody in Amboy, but what I noticed is that for the most part, Amboys stick together. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they stick together heavy. So if somebody do something, you probably know them since first grade, and it's like, nah, I don't even care. I'm gonna go support. I'm gonna do, like, when you throw up a video, it's not getting shared like one time. It's getting shared like 20 times, 20, 30 times, just from the people I know from my time there, and it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
So talk about that sense of community and just from being where you from.
Amboy was like it's a melting pot, brother. It's like it's everything there. You're gonna get everything there except like Indians. You know what I mean? You don't really see too many Indians in Amboy.
A little bit, but not
I don't remember too many. I don't remember too many, but we seen some Chinese kids, a couple of them. You know what I mean? A few white kids, but mostly Puerto Rican, Black, and Dominican. You know what I mean? But it's a small town, bro. It's 3.2 square miles. You know what I mean? There's a lot of schools. It's overpopulated, but we were always with each other. Everybody's with each other. So like you tell a story about Richie. I literally grew up with Richie and Edison. Like they lived in the Stockton building. I'm the next block over, Watson Avenue. That's where I grew up. So we played football against each other, you know, like Watson Ave versus Stockton. But you know, it's broken up like that, you know what I mean? And then they had the courts, so you're with each other all the time. And then the rec sports, you know, it's such a small town that the rec sports you're on teams with everybody, kids that go to schools in different parts of town, but you start to know each other after a while. So we really do grow up with each other. But the thing about Amboy is like, yeah, we'll beef amongst each other and we'll fight. We'll do all types of crazy shit amongst each other. But some out of town shit happen, and we form like Voltron. You know what I mean? Like it's like, nah, out of towners, you ain't getting that off in here. You know what I mean? So there's a loyalty there, but it's also disrespectful with each other too. Yeah. But that took time though. That didn't happen overnight though. Like that sense of community. Because I don't like to talk too much about it, but I have haters. You know what I mean? I got people that don't like to see me do good, you know what I mean? But I also have a lot more supporters. And that's just, I feel like that's more of a statement of how I carry myself. You know what I mean? I've never really forced my music down people's throats like a lot of these other artists do. You know, they're tagging 99 other people in it. You know what I mean? I give people the option to like my music. And what I've noticed is that, you know, give them the option. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. But once they see other people supporting it, it's that social proof aspect of it. It's like, boom. All right, why is everybody else liking this and I'm not, you know? And then they just kind of fall in line. And that's just how the internet works nowadays. So we talk about the algorithm, and it's just it's very hard for people to really identify what they like themselves because they're so lost and consumed in what the internet shows them. But if they see multiple people liking this, thousands of people liking this, they'll be like, oh, I guess I got to like this too. You know, it's like, in today's day and age, it's like harder for people to think for themselves. I don't know why I'm saying that, but what I can say is that it took a long time to get that, and it came with me learning the back end of social media and knowing what time to drop my content. You know, how fast the engagement has to be hitting this. You know what I mean? So people think it's just posting or it's just this. I was strategic about a lot of it because I did my research on how it works, you know, and I started from MySpace. Like I had automation on MySpace. Right. Nobody in our age group had. We were 19, 17, 18, 19 years old. Nobody was thinking about automation. I had the shit. I had an IBM laptop where it was automated software, Friend Blaster Pro. That was the name of it. It would send out 400 friend requests a day, and it'll post my bulletins every 7 minutes. Wow. And put my music player in there. So that's the type of shit that people don't realize, that's the type of work that I put in, you know, and they might not see that, but that's grinding. Right. And now automation is a thing. AI is a thing. This is the stuff we use for podcasting, it's the shit we was on in 2003, 2004. You know what I mean?
Man, listen, I don't care what nobody tell me. AI been here.
Been here.
AI been here.
It's just crazy right now.
AI been here. They were showing you like when they had shows like Knight Rider and all these other movies back in the day, the 80s and the 70s. Like even now when you like sometimes, because I'm a big documentary guy, right? Yeah. And then I'll give you just a random name, like, because they just had a remake, like Planet of the Apes. Yeah. And so then they'll have something like, oh, the history of the Planet of the Apes. And then you'd be like, yo, wait, the original idea for this movie came out like the 60s. And you like, wait, what? Like Like I thought this was like 80s, 90s type thing. Like, nah, this joint back in the day.
Conceptually, that was created years and
years ago. And what I'm saying is they had the ideas for AI and robots and all these things. AI been here. It ain't nothing new. People be like, oh, well, social media, like, no. All that stuff been there. It just changed, it evolved, and it's more palatable for us because we're a generation who grew up in it. And you know what I mean? Like, people don't realize like how big computers used to be.
Yeah.
Like,
remember we had a class on computers, like how to turn it on, how to type a little bit.
Like, yo, and now it's like, nah, like everything's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But AI been here. But that's crazy that you had automation like ahead of the game. I'll be honest with you. I remember you had like because user videos ain't really a thing like they used to be. Like, whether it's rapping, whether it's dance, whatever type of music video, R&B, like they used to be like a thing, and then they kind of faded off, and then. But I remember it was like 20. You had a good run. We had like 2 or 3 that was like hard. I was like, yo, this joint. I'm like, up share. I don't even have to share. Like, and I think that is dope how you curate it, and it just brings a different vibe. Like, you be like, yo, this dude. It's from where?
Yeah.
Like the whole joint, and you could play some of it right now, and then you just be like, nah, these joints was fire. What keeps you going?
I like the content creation space. I love it. You know what I mean? I enjoy producing content. I wish I had more time in the day to do that all day, because I would do that all day. If it was paying the bills. But I love it, man. I love producing content, and I like standing out. And it makes like video, when I incorporate video into everything that I do now, it just makes your message and your presence so much stronger. You know what I mean? Like we spoke earlier, I got my podcast too. And my podcast, while I'm giving the world other people's stories, you're also learning about mine as well, because these are people that I've interacted with. These are people that have played a part in my journey, you know what I mean? And people that I've interacted with, that they deserve to have some light shined on them. But it's giving you a background on what my relationship was with them. You know what I mean? So you can see that they seen me from, like you said, when I was just starting to, then you just watch the progression, and then you put all those pieces together through all those episodes, and now you got a big picture of who Bobby is, while also shining light on my peers. But video and content creation is what keeps me going. I'm all about legacy. I want to leave legacy. So everything I do, I try to leave breadcrumbs for my kids, for my grandkids, when my kids have kids or whatever, and they can always look back and say, yo, that was my grandfather. So as long as YouTube doesn't get, blown up and there's nothing, it doesn't go anywhere, my kids now have over 100, 200 videos to go back and sit there and watch 2 hours of content of their father.
True.
Talking and learning stories about him and what he did and what I accomplished. And even though in some people's minds it might not be the biggest accomplishments, but I know that I've done some cool shit, and I'm leaving the story behind, And then the music itself, the legacy of the music, like music doesn't die. And I think that's one thing that happens with artists, is that people get discouraged because they drop a song and maybe it gets 1,000 plays and then that's it, it's over. If you watch TV, if you watch Netflix, Kate Bush running up that hill with fucking Stranger Things, that song was created in 1980 something.
Wow.
They put that song in Stranger Things, that shit blew up again. 40 years later. Right. You know what I mean? So it's something that's timeless. Content is timeless. And as long as these platforms exist, it's here forever, bro. Whatever you post, whatever I post, is there, bro. And I think that's where we're struggling as a society to realize that people that are conscious of social media, like me, you, content creators and stuff like that, we understand that what we post, it's gonna get seen, bro, and that's gonna be there forever. And you might get checked on that 10 years down the line. You never know. Right. So you gotta be conscious of what you're posting.
True.
It's your legacy. And a status update doesn't seem like it's much, but it is. It is. And those words hurt. Those words can make you feel good. Those words can make you do all types of crazy shit. You see people out all day putting their business out there, their tea, and I'm just there like, oh my God. Wow. You're inviting, karma and bad things to happen to you. You know what I mean? Just by putting it out there,
You know, it's interesting. The other day, I had a friend, and she was posting something positive,
Yeah.
and I was like, sometimes even the positive things can be overshared because you open yourself up for, uh, you know, too much criticism, or you know, you get a lot of praise. And I say this, sometimes if there's a change or something positive happening, just let it be that. I think that's the thing that social media gets messed up. Like, you know, if you decided I'm on a new level of something, just be on the new level.
Yeah.
You don't have to announce.
You don't have to share everything.
Because as soon as you announce that you're on a new level, I feel like you open yourself up for everybody who wants to drag you back to the level that you just came from.
Yeah.
But that's another story for another day.
That's a great topic, though. It's like they want to see you do good, but not better than them, bro.
Right,
Man,
right.
It's rough.
A lot of times people want to see you do good, but not better than them. How did you find yourself in a space where, okay, I'm doing music, okay, you know, you talked about, you know, loving content creation, but maybe what are one or two steps for somebody who's, you know, okay, I want to start a podcast. Maybe I'm doing something over here, but I think, because, you know, one thing I saw, one of my former guests, I Rock Diva, you know, she's like, yo, everybody don't need a podcast now. Come on now.
Yeah.
But if you have a calling for it, or something like that of that nature, how do you say, okay, how do I do this? Like, what do I do? Do I just go in my room? Because I'll say this another story. I remember I worked a side hustle. You know, I work Uber, Lyft, and sometimes I remember one time these group of ladies got in my car. They're like, "What you listening to?" I said, "Podcast. This is about what?" I said, "I'm not really listening to it because what they're talking about. I'm listening to them because I want to hear their cadence, how they ask questions, so on and so forth." And then their response to me was like, "Oh, you don't need to do all that to do a podcast. You just turn the camera on and be yourself." And I'm like, "Is that how you do it?" And we had like a lengthy discussion back and forth. But I'm posing that to you as a fellow podcaster, creative, and so on and so forth. How do you feel like it should be done, or what was your transition like?
Well, what I could say is based off of the history of my podcast, and to be clear, I've had two podcasts, I guess, attempts before I got to the one that I'm like doing currently, and it's, to me, it's like, do what you can with what you have. You know, worry about progressing slowly. Nothing is gonna be perfect the first time. You know, you just got to do it. You got to do it. You're going to get better. The first time you're on camera, you're going to suck, bro. You're going to look uncomfortable. You're going to look like you got a fart. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to look bad. It is what it is, bro. But you got to keep going. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. And then you start watching it back. You start learning. Now you notice, oh, the audio's off. Okay, I got to get a mic. Okay. Got to enhance my voice. Now you got to talk different. Now you got to take space in between your words sometimes just to give the camera time to breathe if you got to make a cut. You know, like, you become conscious of things that you're like, what could I do better? But you have to start. If you got an iPhone camera, use the iPhone camera. You got some earbuds, use the earbuds. Start there. Put it on YouTube. Get some subscribers. Get some feedback. You know what I mean? And then use the data that you get provided from these platforms, which are free, and then you build on that. You know what I mean? But it's a lot simpler than people make it, and it doesn't have to be complicated, and you can always build to what you're trying to get to, you know. But the one thing I can say is that content creation or podcasting or music, anything, you need a team. You do. And if you're trying to do it by yourself, it's possible, but you're going to be drained. You're going to be done. You're not going to have a social life. You probably won't be romantic with a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's real, because you're wearing too many hats. So you got to be able to delegate work and let people who are better than you in certain areas do what they're good at. You know, you can't be the chief in every fucking area. You could oversee the project, you know what I mean? But if you suck at video editing, how the fuck are you going to tell this professional video editor that he sucks? You know what I mean? Like, let him work. Let them work, you know? And once everybody knows their roles and stuff like that, it's beautiful. You know what I mean? It's like a championship team. You know, you can't lose. And that's that. And the work ethic and consistency. Like, the podcast game is based on consistency. You know, you could put out a fire ass episode and nobody will hear it, right? And then you're like, fuck, that sucked. Didn't suck. It's just it's not heard right now. Keep building, keep building. So the next time somebody finds you on your 50th episode, they'll be like, yo, I like this guy. Now they're going to go back to that fire-ass episode. You know what I mean? And you got to give them something to go back to, you know? So it's all about catalog, consistency. I mean, there's so many little things, but the main key to content creation or podcasting or anything is do what you can with what you have. Don't wait till everything's perfect because nothing's going to be perfect.
What's one thing that you would say that, you know, whether in music or in podcasting, obviously you said, you know, your first hip hop, the freestyle or the written was trash. But what's one thing that you would say for both, that you got better at, that you, or a hurdle that you overcame that was like, and when I say you overcame it, you know you overcame it. Like, nah, I feel that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like when it comes to podcasting, I used to be uncomfortable. When it came to cameras in general, I was very uncomfortable in front of cameras. You know, I didn't feel like, you know, my camera presence was good. But after doing it multiple times, you become more comfortable in your own skin. And when that happens, you're going to start to see a confidence exude on the camera. You could talk to the camera now. You're like, boom, eyes on the camera. Dead at, you know, and you're taking it serious and you're not scared of it. You're not intimidated by the equipment. The equipment is just equipment. You know what I mean? It's what you put out there is what the world's gonna see. You know, so my goal, what I try to do with podcasting is have the energy felt through the words. Make sure that what I say is powerful, and I use strong words. You know what I mean? Try to use strong words. Say less sometimes. You don't have to say a million words to get your point across. You know, keep it simple. KISS, you know the acronym. Keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? And I think, like I said, people overthink a lot of things, and it's like, yo, it's not gonna be perfect. It's not. You're not gonna be perfect, but that doesn't mean that your art is not perfect. It could be perfect. Your inefficiencies make your shit perfect. You know what I mean? That's what people want. They want the authenticity of it. So it's like, show them the flaw, bro. Eat it. It is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? You can't do nothing about that. You're walking around in your skin. If you got a fucking mole here, it's gonna be there for the rest of your life. Own that shit. You know what I mean? Own that shit. Own your shit. You know what I mean? Own your feelings. Own your thoughts. Your words. Stand on that shit. You know what I mean? And that's about as real as it gets right there. It's like, I said what I said. You know what I mean? Mary J. Blige's Voice of Power. I said what I said. It's a horrible actress, by the way.
Yeah. So I got 9 people I need you to name. Okay, but in 3 different categories.
Okay.
They don't have to be your favorite, but you already said Jay. But three hip hop influences.
3 hip hop influences.
3 podcast influences. Don't have to be your favorite, any order, whatever comes first, and then 3 of your favorite quarterbacks.
Okay.
Because I remember you used to play quarterback.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll say quarterback, and then we could go running backs in a couple other positions. But
yeah,
3 hip hop who
obviously Hove.
Yeah,
Hove is up there.
We'll put him as alpha, and then 1, 2, 3.
Okay, all right. So I need 3 others.
Yeah.
All right. I really like Kendrick. I like Kendrick a lot. I like Cole. I like Nas. I like Andre 3000 a lot. I like T.I. a lot. Big T.I. fan. Pun. Big Pun. Can't ever leave.
I thought that was going to be number 1.
Nah, I'm Puerto Rican and I'm on it like that. But yeah. But, you know, obviously Pun. Pun is one of the greatest lyricists ever. If I had to go top, though, it'll probably be 3000. Andre 3000. You know, Nas, and at this point, I'm gonna put Kendrick. I think he's earned that spot.
We could go forever on Kendrick.
Yeah, I love Kendrick.
And what I would say that Kendrick is the perfect example of what you talked about, where you give him that one banger, and then now everybody going backwards, like, oh,
now they want to dive into his catalog, right?
Yeah.
And we've been on it for years.
Right.
The Pimp a Butterfly was a classic. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they don't want to talk about it. They're trendy. They follow social norms. Whatever the social trend is at the time, that's what they're gonna go to. You know what I mean?
I'll say I'm a little bit like that, but I will say that
we all are in a sense.
I would say that not necessarily that I wasn't a fan of certain Kendrick songs. I just didn't realize that was Kendrick on the song sometimes because I'm not a. Sometimes people are not real to me until I meet them.
Yeah.
Whether it's a moment that happens that's like oh okay, and then you go, that was him. Word. I've been a fan of this person all along, not realizing like that's who that was.
Yeah.
And then but I mean. They not like this on the podcast.
That was something else, man. That's a diss song that he brought in when he brought in like the appropriation of Atlanta. I was like, he made a hit song and talked about him colonizing Atlanta.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Oh yeah.
Come on. What are we talking about, bro?
Right.
Like what?
Right.
What are we even talking about? How is there an argument?
Right. It just. I one thing I would say is that TikTok was the most educational during that time. It was where I was like, where it was like the other aspects of the song from people who are like other types of musicians, not just hip hop. I was like, dang, that's what's going on. Yeah. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. I'm down the rabbit hole with all of it. And I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. And like I said, now it's like. It's a timestamp. I don't care. Like, it's the battle that everybody wanted, but it's just like, Meek and Drake was a nice little. It was a cute little thing. This is a timestamp.
As a fan of hip hop, I think that was we needed that bad.
Right.
Bad. We needed that bad. As a rapper, somebody that's been in a few little battles and stuff myself, what that shit does to you mentally. I'm not a fan. I think Drake is going through it. He gotta be going through it. He gotta be going through it. Because even if the allegations are not true, that cloud ain't going nowhere, bro.
Yeah.
That pedophile cloud is not going anywhere. He has to eat that for the rest of his life, bro. That is wild, yo. To me, that is like, bro, you might as well have like, fucked his mom or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like, you got to walk around. Now everybody goes, like, you a pedophile, bro. He ain't even a pedophile. You know what I mean? Like,
or they see you out. They be.
Bro, he can't even talk to a teenager anymore, bro.
Well, that or it's like
if they catch him on camera signing an autograph, they gonna be like, Drake at it again.
Right. Or somebody, or it's the hecklers. Like the people that the heckles,
trolls?
The trolls. That's gonna be the thing. Like the rest of everybody might be like, nah, he all right. But then it's like the trolls. There's always gonna be a troll, like to be somewhere that's just doing something extra for no reason. And God bless you if you're gonna be a troll. Just hope you got something doing. Because I've met Drake before, and he got a big ass security team.
Yeah,
and that ain't.
They gonna beat the fuck out.
Yeah, like
they gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah, man.
I just feel bad because I know that shit comes with a lot of weight, man. I've had battles on small scales, nothing like what they did. You know what I mean? But I remember having a lot of people trying to tarnish my character or say shit about me that they think is real or whatever the case may be. That shit don't feel good, bro. And then you got the whole town like going back and forth, and you start hearing shit about you. Like I'm on a small scale.
Right.
Now you're talking about millions and millions of people,
the world,
discussing these two people's lives, talking about cheating on their wives, beating their wives, pedophilia. Like, yo, those are not light allegations, bro. No. Those are. And what it did to the world around them, like that, on a deeper level, that shit's fucked up, bro.
I will say that I thought like Not Like Us was the cake, but the Metro Boomin.
Oh my God.
That was the icing. That was the little cherry on top. Like, oh, this is it went from like bad series.
Oh, you
like,
talk about BB?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Especially, they all the remixes.
Oh,
I was like, man, my man got dissed in every genre of music ever.
Bro, the smartest shit Metro did was he put that instrumental out and told all the unsigned rappers to get on it.
Right.
So he had a bunch of unsigned rappers hungry as hell trying to eat them alive, bro. Like, this is crazy. The marketing geniuses though, but from a marketing standpoint, what they did was fucking genius, man. Right. It was genius. The anticipation, the build up, the fucking 2 songs in one night, like that was a moment, bro.
Right.
I remember when Drake dropped that shit, and then like 45 minutes later, Kendrick was like, nah, not happening. Because if he didn't drop that,
Yeah.
that shit was gonna eat.
Yeah, it was.
That Drake song was gonna eat for a while.
Right.
Kendrick said, "Nah, not happening, bro." He did not take his foot off his neck, bro.
No,
kept his foot on the neck the whole
everybody
time.
was everybody like, I just remember looking at my phone like, he dropped the I'm like, yeah, he dropped. No, another song.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yo. They entertained us for. They had the whole world on in a chokehold, bro, for like a whole week and a half.
Where was I? I was somewhere driving too, and I'm like I said, I'm driving somewhere. I was probably doing Uber or Lyft, and I'm just listening to the joint on TikTok. Like they would break down, and then you know how the timeline goes, and they be like, Kendrick dropped again. No, I'm like, wait. I'm still trying to conceptualize
what
this song.
Happened. Yeah.
And then this song happens. I'm like, yo, this is wild. This is wild. Some wild stuff. Like I said, I don't know who somebody is until I meet you, but everybody met Kendrick at that time. 3 podcast influences that you like really respect.
So the first one that got me on podcast was Tax Stone.
Okay.
Tax Season. When I heard that shit and I heard him and Beanie Siegel talking for like 4 hours.
Wow.
Did you ever hear Tax Stone?
I didn't.
Go back and listen to Tax Stone, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Please do yourself that favor. As a hip hop fan, as a fan of the culture and podcasting, Tax Stone's podcast was everything, bro. And he was a real goon. He was off the porch. Like, you know what I mean? So he was a street dude. He wasn't a celebrity. This is a street guy who was bringing in all these rappers. And they were talking about glory days, the stories. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, this shit is fire. Then I learned about other types of podcasts, like fantasy football podcasts and all types of other shit that I'm in, Detroit Lions podcasts. And now I'm finding all the content that I want to consume in this form. Bro, I haven't listened to the radio since. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to. Between YouTube videos and podcasting, I have everything I want. I don't even need cable. I don't need cable, nothing. I have everything I want. All the content I want is in my fingertips right now.
Right.
So I can really immerse myself in whatever it is I want to immerse myself at the time because there's so much shit out there for it. But Tax Stone was the first one. And then I got into Drink Champs. I fucking love Nori. He's a shitty host sometimes, hilarious, drunk all the time, whatever the case may be. Illiterate, but he's fucking legendary. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
His episodes are fucking awesome. I'm not a fan of the Joe Budden podcast, bro. I have a hard time with Joe Budden. I love Joe Budden as a rapper, but I think as a person, I don't know if I could deal with him. Me personally, he's a lot. He's a lot to digest, bro. His whole demeanor he's a lot. He's a lot. Very intelligent, very smartest guy in the room vibes. You know what I mean? I don't like that. It bothers me. You know what I mean? But I respect his grind because Joe Budden he was on this content creation shit for years. Joe Budden TV, like he's like the prime example of DIY, like do it yourself. Like the industry fucked him. He was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it my way," and he did it. You know what I mean? He fucked all the baddest bitches on the way, and you know I respect Joe Budden. Don't get it fucked up, but I'm just not a fan. You know what I mean? Like, I love his rapping though, and
that's a commendable thing. Like you don't have to like the way somebody, like, you know what I mean. I'll give you an example, like from and this is the wildest comparison because a lot of people don't like him in sports. Not a lot of people like him in sports, but one time I listened to a Jason Whitlock interview. Yeah, and he was interviewing some people. I was like, damn, this guy's a really good interviewer. Yeah. I said, I can't stand his takes at all.
It takes are rough, right?
It takes are terrible. Yeah. It's just a lot of hate. But I'm like, if you actually allow him, if he's in a setting where he's actually interviewing somebody, and you know, me just having a journalism background, I'd be like, nah, he's actually pretty good. Yeah. I was like, he does it the right way. And I mean, at the end of like some of the ones I watch, he'll try to insert a little whatever and then try to hate or whatever, try to direct it a little bit. But for the most part, he allows the person to tell the story, and that's what the interviewer does. And so I understand respecting a talent about somebody without necessarily being like, nah, I don't really.
It's not my cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea. And I just want for anybody watching, I'm not saying I like Jason Whitlock. I'm just saying I respect anything about him, and I think in life we can all do that. We can find something to respect about somebody, and that's just a humanity type thing.
Yeah. So Tax season, Drink Champs, and then there's a financial guy that I follow that I kind of live my life based on his principles was Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
So his ideas and ideology I follow heavily. I think you got to take a little bit of his and a little bit of Rich Dad Poor Dad and all these entrepreneurs and stuff like that. You take a little bit from everybody.
Right.
But he's like my foundation of financial literacy. So I follow him a lot. There's an Indian guy named Jaspreet Singh that I follow. Minority Mindset, teaches a lot about the economy, investing, stuff like that. So I follow, like, I'm into that space a lot right now, like financial literacy. I just want to know about the economy. Why are we going through this? What is this? Why is that? What's inflation? I'm immersing myself in that type of stuff. So that world I like too.
The price of milk don't went up now.
What happened?
So the price of milk don't went up now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's a reason for it, and that we got to understand that as people. A lot of people don't understand why, But that's a whole nother podcast episode. You know what I mean?
Whole nother episode.
And then
you talked about now you listen to Detroit Lions podcast at the fingertips and all that good stuff. Who are some of your favorite quarterbacks of all time?
Favorite quarterbacks of all time.
You already got Stafford on there, so
we're not talking about Stafford.
Let's put him at Omega level right now.
Okay.
So that's your guy. You know what I mean?
Stafford. I love Stafford, man. Nobody could tell me anything about Stafford, bro. 'Cause I was defending that man when nobody liked him.
Right.
Favorite quarterbacks. I love Patrick Mahomes. Watching that boy play is amazing. That dude's nasty. He's nasty. Patrick Mahomes, for sure. I think he's going to surpass the GOAT. I think he has the potential to do it. He's young enough. He's already got enough in his resume. His trajectory is going that way.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady, man. Fire. Tom Brady, bro. He's the GOAT. You know what I mean? We watched that dude do some amazing shit. And then I've had him in fantasy a few times, so he won me some chips. You know what I mean?
Hey.
So I'll take that. And who else? I'm going to go with Vic. I love Michael Vick.
Yeah.
I love Michael Vick. I hate the way his career went.
Yeah.
But he redeemed himself a little bit. It could have went better. You know what I mean? But it's Michael Vick.
I think that the one thing that I guess this generation of football players don't realize is how much of a Michael Vick experience he was when he was with the Falcons before all the trouble. Like
he was different.
I'm gonna go further back from
Virginia Tech.
From Virginia Tech to the dog fighting. Michael Vick had everything on a chokehold. Yeah. Like the Falcons went to the Super Bowl one year prior to him being there, and then it was cool. You know what I mean? Nice story.
That was the Jamal Anderson year.
Jamal Anderson,
Dirty Bird.
Yeah, but Vic
had them.
Yeah, he did. He was something else. I met him a couple times, but it was like I
would have been starstruck. Were you starstruck?
First time,
I would have been fanboying like a motherfucker.
The first time, but you know what? He's very chill.
Is he?
This is when he came to the Jets. Was he with the Jets?
He was with the Jets.
He was with the Jets and met him. That was the first time. But by that time he been there, done that.
Yeah.
Then I met him. They had this. They had the inaugural Flag League game, and it was all like the whole like Terrell Owens, Chad Ochocinco. They had a whole bunch of other, a whole bunch of them. And I went to that. And by that time I met him, I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And he was cool. He was joking around. He was like, "Nah." Then he's like, "No, come here." And then it was like he summed me a little bit like that. I was like, "Yo, I got a question. It was an interview question. It's on my YouTube. Hopefully somebody will go back and look at that." And he was like, "Yeah, nah." He's like, "No, come on."
That's funny.
And he cool. He a chill dude, down to earth. I would say he you could tell he from the hood. Like you know what I mean? But he was just a hood dude. Maybe not the worst, but he from the hood. Like
a lot of them are. Man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, gotta take that into account when you start thinking about them getting these large lump sums of money at such a fast pace. It's like, they come from nothing, brother. Like, they gonna get the Bentley. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They're gonna the jewelry's coming.
Well, remember, he was living in Atlanta where you could get more for less.
Yeah.
At that time too.
Yeah.
And he was the king of Atlanta, so it was like who else was down there? Like, you know what I mean? Because you gotta think like
from a superstar standpoint, nobody.
Nobody.
He was that guy.
Right.
He was that guy.
Glad at least he got his life turned around. He got a chance to continue in the league and do. He bounced around a little bit before he got up out the Eagles and stuff like that. So at least it didn't end like in jail. You know what I mean? But those are your favorite quarterbacks. Obviously, who are some of your favorite running backs outside of Barry? Barry is Omega level.
Barry's GOAT. LaDainian Tomlinson, Walter Payton, Bo Jackson, Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like. They be like,
Marshall Faulk was a dog.
Different.
Bro. He was a dog.
Like, I remember when the Rams got good again, I was like, yo, you not a Rams fan unless I seen you walking around with the old gold and blue
Marshall Faulk
jersey.
That jersey was hard though.
Yeah.
That team was hard. Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt. They were tough.
Yeah.
Isaac Bruce. Like, those are legends.
That was like how people say, when you fall in love with hip hop, that's when I was like, okay, football. Like, this is for real. Like, this is like, it became popular to me. Like, in my mind, like, it wasn't just a every now and again thing. When the Rams were the Rams, I was always a Cowboys fan, but I always, we was down for so long. So when the Rams was the Rams, it's like, yo,
the greatest show on turf.
Right. It was just something to watch. And it was just like I'll be honest with you. I became a Cowboys fan because my stepdad was a Steelers fan, and we beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl. So I was like, "That's my team," and I just rolled with it. Just stuck with it. But like, I've always been. I'm not a psychotic. Like, in high school, I probably was Cowboys all day till the wheels fall off because we was catching so much flack. We wasn't that good. But after a while, you evolve and you be like, all right. Every year y'all gonna go to Super. Like, yeah, I get it.
I had this conversation yesterday with a Cowboys fan. I was watching the game. One of my boys is a Cowboys fan. Right?
Okay.
And I want to see what your take on it is. And I think I've come to the conclusion that Jerry Jones obviously is the reason why the Cowboys aren't good. It's Jerry Jones. It's a Jerry Jones problem. But honestly, he's not letting a GM do a GM job. Right. And he doesn't know how to build a team. He's a finance guy. But the thing about the Cowboys is that their brand is so huge that he realized he does not have to put a winning product on the field to make his money.
True.
It's not about the team anymore. It's about revenue, and it's just about keeping that star where it needs to be. That star is a logo that you could put up there with fucking McDonald's, with Pepsi, with, like that brand equity that the Cowboys have. They don't have to have a winning product. They're like the Knicks. They're going to fucking make millions and billions of dollars every year. They could suck, and they're still going to sell out.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Well,
so,
I mean,
I think it's that.
Jerry World will either fill up with Cowboys fans or it'll fill up with the opposing team's fans.
It's gonna fill up
because the Cowboys. If you ever been to the stadium, it's an experience.
Yeah,
I mean, even outside. If you ever go to the Star Frisco, that's where they practice at. They have a restaurant right next door, and they have like this huge outside of their practice facility. There's a restaurant. And you can literally watch the game on the lawn from the restaurant, and it's like a TV that's the size of a building, and you could just chill and watch the game. And then they have these new gaming experience, which is this restaurant where it's like you sit, it's like a stadium seating, something like that. You can eat like it's like a movie theater almost, and let's just say the TV takes over the whole room, and so it's almost like you're at the game.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I think that's in Dallas.
He's got like an interactive experience type.
Yeah. So it looks like you're down, like it looks like you're seated wherever that camera is, it looks like you're seated right behind the goalpost.
That's crazy.
So, to your point, Jerry Jones, I don't there. I'll give you your point. Yes, with a caveat. He does have an eye for talent, but having talent and building a team and creating a team that has a lot of chemistry in the right ways, I don't necessarily think it's like, okay, you bring Zeke back, but you don't use him on goal line.
Yeah.
So what was the point of bringing him back? Like you signed Dalvin Cook, but
he's on the practice squad.
He's on the practice squad. Now, like, okay, if they have no use for you, you should have somebody. Why is it the 49ers can find talented backs after talented backs after talented backs to run the football, and you put the game in Dak's hands?
That's the question of the year right there.
And I don't feel like he should have that. I'm not saying he can't rise to the occasion.
He shouldn't be throwing 45 times a game.
Right. Me personally, I don't think Dak has ever really recovered from that leg injury.
That ankle, right?
Yeah. Because he was way more mobile before that ankle happened. Way more mobile. Then it happened. And it always, when he runs, it always looks gimpy. It never just looks like he could just really just get to it like full top speed. And Dak is somebody who works his mechanics extremely thing. But if those mechanics fall off, that's when you see those weird footballs come out of his hand.
Yeah.
And I just be like, man, damn. But I respect his competitiveness. I do think he's a leader. And I also think that he might be a Raider next year.
You think so?
I don't know. Because it's just like, yo, what does all in mean for the Cowboys? Like, what does it all in really mean? When everybody around, no disrespect, the Lions are really good. Like, this isn't like a joke. This isn't a
no, they're great. The roster's amazing.
This isn't a miracle year where they just the Lions are really good. And I'm saying that because for years, obviously you talked about Scott Linehan and all those other years, but for years they've kind of been the doormat.
Mm-hmm.
And when all the teams that are a doormat are getting better and your team is not, what are you saying? Why? What's going on with this defense? You know what I mean? You brought Mike Zimmer back, but Mike Zimmer's defense is only good every other week. You know what I mean? And I don't know what's going on with Mike McCarthy. Like, I just, some days he looks like a genius, and sometimes you be like, yo, what is this dude doing? And
it's an organizational problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't let people thrive in what they're good at.
Right.
He doesn't. He's a micromanager with a shitload of money, and he understands that he doesn't have to put a winning product out to keep his bag coming,
right.
bro.
As long as he got somebody to look at, CeeDee Lamb is good, but like, why does it seem like CeeDee Lamb is the only person to throw to? And, and then it's like the boneheaded stuff that he does in the sense of like, I felt like, was it 2 weeks ago when we played Baltimore Ravens? I know Derrick Henry runs hard, but he ran hard like, y'all should have came and got me. Now I'm going to show you why.
Bro, Derrick Henry hit like 21 miles an hour the other day, bro. Like, the guy's like 260.
Bro, he came up in the spot and was like, I'm going to show you why you should have came and got me. And now you're going to pay for
That's
it.
the biggest critique of the season. Everybody's like, why did Dallas not do anything?
And,
I mean, I understand they got, out of the highest paid players in the league, they got like 2 out of the top 5.
Right.
And that's CeeDee Lamb and Dak, but
I think
a lot of money tied into 2 positions, bro.
I think I do. It does seem like sometimes you're like, well, he's just gonna let him suck and thing. I think after this year, if they don't get it together, he's blowing the whole ship up. Like, he has to. If he doesn't, he has to.
My question: how many draft picks do you guys have this year? Do you have like a first, second, third?
Yeah, we got the full slate.
Okay, so
it's like you got, everybody's old now in football years, and it's looking like, yo, what are we gonna do? Like, DeMarcus Lawrence always hurt. You know what I mean? Y'all don't seem to really value Michael Parsons in a way where y'all really gonna put him in his position to be dominant. And sometimes I think they do that just because they don't want to pay the player, so they don't put him in a position for him to dominate, and then he's just a player. And I was like, we're gonna lose we're gonna lose somebody. Hopefully it's just not within the division, but we're gonna lose some of these players, and it's just like whatever. So I just feel like if we don't get our shit together,
Parsons should be coming up on his 5th year now, right? On his 5th year option.
This is
his option year, right?
Yeah, and if it don't happen, I just it's gonna be like, well, we just wasted 4 years of the last 2 years of his career, of his greatness. But what's going on with the Lions?
If anybody wants to, and I don't mean this as a flex, but if you want to watch like a master class on team building, follow what our GM Brad Holmes has done the last 4 years.
Yeah,
fucking mastermind, bro. Utilizes the shit out of draft picks. I mean, he's hit on like 90% of them, bro. I'm talking about 4th rounders turning into all pros, 5th rounders, the contributors. Like everybody that he's drafted, bro, has turned out to be something. And he's taking risks. He's taking a risk on Jamison Williams when he was coming off the ACL coming out of Alabama. It took a year for that to recover. Then he got the gambling shit, so it was a year and a half after that. So there's been risks that he's been taking as far as like injuries or maybe some character issues or stuff like that. Not really character issues because all those guys seem to mesh well. But the drafting that Brad Holmes has done has been fucking phenomenal, bro. Like, it's everybody, bro. Last year we got Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, and Brian Branch in the first 4 picks. 3 of them were like all pro level, and the other one's on his way. So it's like you build through the draft, and then what he did in this past offseason was he paid his players. He paid the people that built the core foundation of it. Amon-Ra got paid. Penei Sewell, who's probably my favorite player in the league right now. A right tackle. I love watching him more than almost anybody on the field. Did you see yesterday they tried to get him a fucking touchdown? On the hook and ladder play? A right tackle.
Right.
Best right tackle in the league right now.
Right.
He extended Taylor Decker, foundational piece. David Montgomery just got a bag 2-3 days ago, and that boy's running like it's nobody's business right now, like the Reds do. You know what I mean? And I think he made angry runs 2 times already this year. It's week 6. You know what I mean?
What's crazy? The crazier part is some of the players you got, Dallas had a chance to get. It's like, what?
I don't know what Jerry's doing. I really don't. But from what my perspective is, it really just looks like a money grab, bro.
Yeah.
This is a poorly run. It's not a poorly run franchise. The organization of it is poorly run because there's one person trying to do everybody's job, which brings us back to the point that we said to delegate earlier. If you got a good video editor, let the video editor do that. You know what I mean? If you got a good GM, let the fucking GM be the GM. Let the coach be the coach. I think Mike Zimmer was the wrong hire. I think his system doesn't fit in today's NFL. Me personally. I think when losing Quinn hurt, you could see it. The chemistry of the defense is just off.
Yeah.
Yesterday was horrible. And you guys got all pro players back there.
Yeah. I agree because
Quinn's
he was good for a stink up. Like, obviously, the playoff game was a stinker against the Green Bay Packers. And he was good for like every 5th game being like a bad game.
Yeah.
But not as consistently as what Zimmer is. I know Jerry wanted to keep it close to the vest, but it just not making sense. Like how they come out.
You hear that though? Jerry wants to keep it. Jerry. Yeah. You don't hear that Sheila Ford Hamp wants to keep it. You know what I mean? Like she's the owner of the line. You don't hear nothing about her.
Man, it's like. Yeah,
it's a leadership problem there, bro. And nobody gonna do shit. It's fucking Jerry Jones, bro. He's one of the richest guys on the planet.
Right.
I guarantee probably the most valuable franchise on the planet. One of them.
It's crazy that 2018 or 2019, I forget. I went to the NFL draft when they had it in Dallas.
Yeah.
And mingling and everything like that. You really can't find anybody in Dallas to say anything about Jerry Jones bad.
He's probably scared of his ass.
Not even like because he does so much out there.
Oh yeah.
Like business wise, community,
yeah.
everything. You really can't get nobody out there to be like, yo, Jerry Jones. It's like it's different.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm in the room. I'm just in the room talking to people, and I'm just getting the insider on certain things, like, you know, why Dez Bryant got really, what the real reason why they cut Dez Bryant and certain other players, and just it's not like necessarily dirt, just the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there listening, and they were like, yeah, you. I'm like, you couldn't get nobody to say nothing crazy about Jerry Jones in Dallas. So when you say you can't find nobody to say nothing to him, you really can't find nobody to say nothing to him.
He's God, bro.
Yeah.
It's Jerry's world, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They call the stadium his world, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know, hopefully, like I said, hopefully he get it together, and hopefully we figure out something, because I can't. Like
at this point in his age, he ain't changing, brother. He's 70. He gotta be like 70, 80 years old, bro.
Well, it ain't that.
He's stuck in his ways.
It's just the roller coaster, bro. It's literally just the roller coaster.
And I don't think his son is the answer.
Yeah, no.
I don't think his son is the answer.
I think Jerry had more of an eye for talent.
Yeah.
But he was him and Jimmy Johnson was like college teammates or something like that.
Didn't they have a fallout though?
Yeah,
and then when Jimmy got inducted to something, they reconciled, right? Recently,
he inducted him into the Cowboys Ring of Fame.
Yeah,
I said Jimmy Johnson might be the only one that could save us right now, because I was like that's the only dude who now everybody's going, oh well, he didn't do shit when he was in Miami. Well, he didn't have he didn't have the Jerry Jones purse that they had in Miami. Like, you know what I mean? He and you can still say, like, he still had, you know, he had Dan Marino, he had I remember Lamar Smith. He had some talented players in Miami. It just wasn't what the Dallas Cowboys could do.
Dallas of the 90s was something else, bro.
Yeah.
It was something else.
And so so how do you see Detroit doing the rest of this year after seeing that game?
The Aiden injury hurts. We were already, I don't want to say that was our weak spot, but if there was a weak spot on the depth chart, it was defensive end. We picked up Marcus Davenport in the offseason. He played 3 games. He was balling out for the season. 1-year deal, you know what I mean? Out for the season though. Done. So now we're like weak a little bit. And we got some depth players. We got some people there that shown flashes. There's a guy named James Houston that played for Jackson State.
Yep.
6th round draft pick.
He was balling his first year.
Rookie year, came in, played like 7 games, had 6.
I thought they cut him.
8 sacks in 7 games. His rookie year.
Yeah.
And he's just been on the flux ever since. He had an ankle injury last year. He hasn't been the same. He's been a healthy scratch the past 3-4 weeks.
Okay.
So he's like on the bubble. I don't know if they're trying to trade him. He has some value, you know, for a 6th round pick. They're gonna get something. But now that Aiden's hurt, they're probably gonna throw him into the fire now. But the one game he did play, he was getting his ass kicked. You know what I mean? But take Aiden out the picture, bro. That's a big piece. That guy was. I was listening to a stat today that Detroit has had. We're 5-1, right? 5-1. It was week 7, right? 5-1. We had a bye already. Aiden Hutchinson, we had a bye, mind you. Keep that in mind. We had a bye. 2 weeks from now, Aiden Hutchinson will still be leading the league in pressures, and he just got hurt.
Dang.
Because he's that far ahead of everybody right now. He was having a defensive player of the year type of year.
Wow.
He had 7.5 sacks already. Week 7. You know what I mean? He was balling. His presence is. You take that off the field, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. You know, from a football standpoint, from a schematic standpoint, you got to pressure the quarterback. But we do got some depth in the middle. DJ Reader, Ali McNeil, them boys are big and they're tough. And Levi Onzarike, he's a guy that he's coming off of injuries in his 3rd year. He's looking good. So we have some pieces there that are promising that I think could fill. But I think we might make a trade. I think we might need to bring in somebody. They're talking about Zadarius Smith, or everybody wants Max Crosby. Max Crosby's from Michigan. And he said it. He said it himself. If there was a team that he played for besides the Raiders, it would be the Lions, because he wants to play for Campbell. Everybody wants to play for Campbell.
That's what I was saying. Like, the energy matches.
Everybody wants to play for Dan Campbell.
And right now, I mean, I don't know. After the
offensively,
the Raiders. No, I'm talking about the Raiders real quick.
Oh yeah.
They haven't. It's just no. I don't know what happened, but the chemistry's not there. Like even yesterday, they were in that game, but they kept fumbling. They fumbled so many times.
What happened? Because the end of last year, they finished strong with Pierce.
I don't know. I don't know because I'm rooting for Antonio Pierce. I did
too. I wanted him to win.
I really root for him. But right now, I think that he's still coaching Josh McDaniels' team, and
yeah, that's true.
And I think that what really hurt the Raiders is that they got O'Connell, but I think they really wanted to press the reset button this year with the quarterback position and just be like, all right, bump it, because you had a lot of – because they wanted Washington's quarterback bad.
Penix?
No.
Jaden
Daniels. Because Antonio Pierce had him at college.
Yeah.
So he knew what he was getting with that.
Yeah.
And as you could see, Jaden Daniels is mastery level. He mastered the college game in the last 2 years. And he really just got in, like really dug in and just no distractions. I'm about this life. He found that technology, the quarterback technology. He did, and so Antonio Pierce knew what he was getting with him. They couldn't get him. I don't think they wanted the other quarterbacks. And because they didn't hit the reset button, like you give Jaden Daniels, what's number 17 name? I can't think of his name right now.
Minshew.
No, the wide receiver for the Raiders.
Devontae Adams.
You give Jaden Daniels Devontae Adams, and the way he's playing, and it's a whole different Raiders organization.
Yeah, he revived Terry McLaurin. And
Jaden Daniels brings that type of leadership too.
Yeah.
I don't know. O'Connell was all right because I remember watching him at Purdue in college, so he's good. He did his thing in spot duty, but because they so influx, I think that's what was stopping them from happening. So that being said, the Raiders could have a fire sale and just say, all right, let's just reboot this whole thing. Devontae ain't played in the last couple of weeks, and they still been competitive at least. Okay, let's get some draft capital for him, and then if you get Max Crosby in Detroit, you might tip the scales because that NFC North, that's
dangerous right now.
Huh?
It's dangerous right
now. The whole division.
It might be that. I don't know if it's possible, but I think that this might be a year where we could get fucking. I don't think it's possible before because there's only 3 wild cards, but there's definitely going to be three from the NFC North.
Because the Vikings look good, Detroit looks good.
Everybody looks good, bro.
And then
the Bears defense
just a log jam. It's just a log jam because you know what I mean. Yeah. And then even Green Bay woke up because I was rooting for Malik Willis to just stay Green Bay quarterback.
Yeah,
but I think all he did was solidify his next 10 years he
got a job for the next 10 years.
Yeah, so he good. And if Jordan does go down, y'all at least y'all had somebody with continuity who had the offense humming. And it wasn't just like oh, he's just managing. They were winning with him.
Yeah.
So you got that in Green Bay, and then Caleb is starting to get it a little bit.
Caleb's turning up.
And so
I hate to admit it, but he's turning up right now.
If y'all can make that trade, why not?
I'll do it. You know what? But the thing about it too is that Max he's a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's gonna eat up a lot of the cap, and we got a lot of people to pay right now. Still coming up. You know what I mean? So
the Rams did it.
Yeah, but they had a window. They had a small window.
Yeah.
And they did it because they had the small window. Lions right now are set up for we're set up to be good for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I feel like the way the cap is
based on the cap increasing every year, we're set up to be good every year.
They find ways to make stuff. And the one thing I'll say is, minus the Cowboys, if you have the right GM, which you guys have, and you know how to go to the owner and say, trust me on this one, we can make this work, and we'll figure out the details later.
Yeah.
Like, you can say what you want about the Rams, but the Rams are back to being competitive.
Oh,
it was only 1 year off, really, that they weren't competitive. and the year before they won the Super Bowl. So you know what I mean. Now without Aaron Donald, they're competitive. That being said, you can make it work. If
Les Snead is a phenomenal GM though.
Yeah,
their GM is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
and that's where our GM comes from. He's from that tree,
right? And
so it goes to show you how relative it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Les Snead is a drafting god, bro. Like the Rams always draft well. Oh, even if without first round picks,
yeah,
they're getting guys in the third, fourth round that are becoming starters.
Well, here's the thing about that. And a lot of people don't know about this. The college game is oversaturated with good players.
Yeah.
You know, imagine it's like, yo, I'm like, imagine, like, let's just say Perthan boy, right? With the level of things that are available to with the talent. I'm being a caveat, you know.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna say, because I got there sophomore year, so I'm gonna say 2 to 3 years before me, and 3 years after me, 3 to 4 years after me. The group of talent that was in Perth Amboy, that was there all together, and plus the ones that didn't want to play for that particular coach.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, in the system that there is now, you know, I'm not no shade to Coach Scoot and all of them that's going now, we'd have been ridiculous because all the stuff that's available to you, the coaching, the level of coaching, like that joint used to be exclusive.
Yeah,
that used to be like you couldn't afford to go to Parisi or all these running back camps or all this other stuff. It was like almost like that era is either you had it or you didn't.
Yeah,
and you know. And then the level of the things with these I don't even know what they call it, private schools versus public schools and all this other stuff. It's all different now.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is it goes up. So by the time like these kids coming into college, they've had so many reps that it's like, and then they're running this. Everybody's running shotgun. Remember that was still kind of new.
We were when McGarry came in. That's when he tried to bring that in.
Yeah.
Right? So.
That was all new.
Everybody was like, whoa, this different offense.
Yeah. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, everybody's a shotgun now. Nobody goes under center. You know, rarely. Like Tom Brady, maybe. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so crazy that it's like college is so oversaturated with good talent that everybody really knows what they're doing, that it just makes like things. So you really don't, by the time you get to that NFL level, like you can find so many diamonds in the rough. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
it is. This is outside of the offensive and defensive alignment, everybody else is Gucci.
That's why I question the Cowboys. You couldn't find a running back in the 5th, 6th round. They found Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? Like one running back,
bro. I was the my man from Wisconsin, number 0. He's a Jets now.
Allen. Oh my God!
I was like, yo, okay. If you don't want, all right, you don't want to get Derrick Henry.
He's a Brees injury. He's a Brees Hall injury away from being like an All Pro, bro.
Right? And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. So, that being said, you know what I mean. Like you said, the talent is all there. Max Crosby might be a Detroit Lion.
I would love it, but realistically, I don't think it's gonna happen. I could see them. I heard a rumor, J.J. Watt. I heard he's still in shape. I heard he's still like, he said it on Twitter that this was his last year of being prepared to be called in. So they said he's
on
in
TV right now.
He's on TV. He's great. He looks great though. Pause. Like physique wise, the dude's in football shape. He hasn't taken the hit, so he has to get his legs and shit back underneath him. But as far as like fit wise, he's ready to still play.
And he from that area, that Northeast, that Midwest.
Yeah. You know? So I heard J.J. Watt circling around. I heard Zadarius Smith. Somebody even said Myles Garrett, but Cleveland's not letting him go. I heard Trayvon Walker. They're trying to pair him up with Hutch next year. The 1 and 2 picks from that draft. There's guys out there. There's somebody out there that we could probably bring in. But the way our GM works, he's not a spender in free agency. He doesn't do that. He's a draft guy. So draft capital is important.
He'll trade the guy before he signs.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll go he's a bargain guy, bro. He takes a lot of guys that have injury histories and gives them a chance. You know what I mean? Like Marcus Davenport, the guy's always hurt, but when he plays, he's a fucking dog. You know what I mean? And a man amongst boys. And he got hurt though, but it only cost us $6 million, so I'll take that 1 year.
Word.
There's not a cap hit next year, so we're not worried about that. But I think he'll be back. But I think next year he's coming back at like $3 million because now he lost another year. So you got to bargain, man. And then there's levels to that GM shit. And I don't think people understand the game from that level. I'm enamored with the fucking organizational part of football.
Word.
I love it. I love the movie Draft Day. Like there's parts of the game that people don't get into that is fucking fire, bro. Like the GM game is fire, bro. Understanding the salary cap and how they pull this shit off and shit like that it's amazing, bro. Roster construction, like I don't know if a lot of people know this shit.
Always play Madden, didn't you?
Yeah, I do. But even right now, the Lions going into the season, we got a 53-man roster plus the 16 practice squad players. Lions went into the season with 52. And 16 on the practice squad.
Wow.
They waited a week after that because they realized if they signed somebody from the practice squad to the full roster after 1 week, their salary's not guaranteed.
Wow.
There's little shit like that, like from a financial standpoint that stands out when you hear it. You're like, these motherfuckers are playing chess, bro. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes over there cooking, bro. And they talk about it now. We're starting to get the notoriety for it. But this has been in the works for the last 3-4 years. I've been watching this closely for like the last 3-4 years. And every year I just get more impressed. Free agency, draft. I'm like, these motherfuckers are just hitting. They're just hitting. So when I say that they're built for the next 10 years, they are. I'm not going to say we're going to win a Super Bowl every year, but we're going to be in the run. We're going to be in that tournament at the end of the year, every year, for the next 10 years.
You're going to at least get one.
I hope so. And Jared Goff right now is playing great. That boy went 18 for 18 the other day.
Hey.
And they threw him out of L.A. You know what I mean?
Sometimes these quarterbacks, it's very, that's what I said, the oversaturation of talent.
Yeah.
That's why they cutting these, like Bryce Young, his best bet is to get cut by the
somewhere else.
And go somewhere
Change the
else.
scenery, bro.
Go sit for 2 years, have everybody forget about you, get better. And then we go somewhere where they had decent offensive line.
I felt bad for him.
And keep it pushing. Man, we were talking.
Where we at?
we been going for a while. You know what I mean? I don't want to abuse the time.
No, I got you.
But before we close out, you know what I mean? Any last things that you want to shout out? Anything that you got going on? Any projects you working on? Let people know where they can find your podcast.
Okay, yeah.
Music, whatever, and we'll go from there.
So basically, all my social media platforms, you guys can find me at Bobby Crillz, BOBBY CRILLZ. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Hold on, before you say what does Bobby Crillz come from?
Bobby Crillz comes from history. You know what I mean? I played around a little bit. I sold some shit when I was younger. I wasn't Al Capone or fucking Al Pacino and Scarface, but I hustled a little bit. You know what I mean? The way I try to describe it now is more like a product of the environment, what I was raised around. My mother was a hustler. My aunt was a hustler. I told you my pops was next door. Right. You know what I mean? Like shit wasn't all roses. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a product of the environment at this point. You know what I mean?
How you flip the negative to the positive?
Just by character, you know what I mean? Showing the world who you are and what your real message is, So when I first started rapping, it was more trying to get towards that level of it. But as I got older, I got kids now, shit. Your message got to change, brother. You know what I mean? Like if you're still preaching about guns and shit like that at this age, it's not that cool anymore. You know what I mean? Now people are looking at you like, man, grow up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
So, over time, you just mature and you get to that point where you got to kind of change the concept. But I'll never get rid of the name. The name is part of me. People have been calling me Crillz for the last fucking, I've been at it since 15, 16, approaching 40.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just who I am at this point. So the name, it does have a negative connotation to it, but if you know where I come from and what kind of stuff I put out in there into the world, then you can understand it. You know what I mean? It goes to show you that just because you come from some shitty shit doesn't mean you're a shitty person. You know what I mean? You could grow, you could develop past that. But That's who I am. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you were telling everybody where to follow you at?
Oh yeah, Bobby Crillz on all platforms: Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you call it. YouTube, Bobby Crillz. I got music on SoundCloud. Forget SoundCloud. I got Spotify, Apple, Tidal. Go on one of those platforms. Don't go on SoundCloud. Help me get paid. Give me some streams. You guys can follow me on all those platforms for music. As far as the podcast goes, right now I'm exclusively on YouTube. I just reached partner status, so that's good. My criteria is there. Getting monetized and shit like that. It's a small feat, so I'm happy. It took a long time to get to that point, but we made it finally. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got about 23 episodes out right now, 3 different seasons. And if you start from the beginning, you'll actually see the progress, which kind of ties us into what I said before. Just do what you can with what you have. And if you start at the beginning of my podcast, you'll see it visually. You'll see it. You're gonna be like, oh shit! It gets better and better every episode. It gets better and better.
God bless the lights in here and everything like that.
Yes.
Producer Bobby, if he's not here tonight, he's the in-house musician. By the way, I wish he could have made it, but he's doing things with wifey and family building all that stuff. But I remember my first and second episode, I was sitting right where you were sitting.
Yeah.
With half a light on me. It was dark and I was mad as hell. And then we did it was a Zoom with one of my homegirls. She has an anime clothing line.
Yeah.
And her joint came out a little blurry, not as good as it could have come out. And I'm sitting over there in the dark with one camera.
Yeah.
Like you see all the cameras we got in here with one freaking camera. And just like, I was just tight. Like, this got to get better. But you got to stick with it.
You got to stick with it.
And that's just
how. I bet you the next episode didn't come out like that.
It got better over time.
It did, right?
Every time.
Every time it gets better.
Yeah.
And same shit with writing, with music, every verse.
Right.
You just got to keep doing it.
Right.
And it's repetition. As athletes, one last thing. As an athlete, I have some friends that played at pretty high levels, basketball, football, whatever the case may be. It all comes down to repetitions. Reps. The more reps you do, the better you're going to get at it. If you shoot 1 million jump shots in your life, you're going to be a good fucking jump shooter. You know what I mean? You're going to figure it out by 100,000. You know what I mean? By 100,000, you're like, all right, this is how I make them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just keep doing that, and then it becomes muscle memory and second nature. And now you're playing the game at a faster speed.
Yeah.
And it's repetitions, bro.
So
that's why sports and everything is beautiful when it's done right.
Yeah.
Podcasting's beautiful when it's done right. You know? Everything is beautiful when it's done right.
When it's done right. I have a request. You got bars? You still got bars?
I got a little something, but we gonna hold that for another time, brother.
I can't even get like a little half a bar with something with the name Boom in it.
I haven't had the mental space for that in the past couple months. It's been in a different area. It's all good. I got you though.
Well, by the time I do your podcast,
I'll have some bars for you when you come on mine. How about that?
I no, the thing is, the challenge is you can spit whatever you want to, but you got to put Boom in the joint.
I got you.
That's it. Or the House of Boom, but I just like say Boom.
I like the House of Boom. That shit is hard.
Yeah.
That sounds like a store.
Yeah.
That sounds like a store.
It might be a gym one day.
Yeah.
Or it might be a clothing store. You never know. You know, right down where Sneaker Ferry used to be.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Brick and mortar.
But yeah, man, that's Bobby Crillz. I'm your host, Eric Boom Salvery. Man, it was a good conversation. Check him out. I'm gonna be on his podcast sometime in the near future. After school and kids is raised and all that other stuff, all the good stuff that we're supposed to be doing at the big age, right? And I just thank you for coming on. Thank you for giving us different stories, different perspectives, motivation, keeping it real. And I look forward to chopping it up with you again, bro. And for anybody watching this, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the House of Boom podcast. Comments. We'll definitely have some stuff up soon, so get down. Hate on Bobby if you want to, so that he can come back at you with some bars and all that. No, I'm just playing. But nah, that's what it is.
Appreciate you, brother.
This is House of Boom podcast, and we are out. Peace.
Good stuff. How long we go?